Tonight on the program, how a series of sex scandals involving senior monks is shaking the country. Then the ripple effects of the feud between Thaksin and Hun Sen. And calls to revise the recriminalization of cannabis. สวัสดีค่ะ I'm Nad Bunaga. Welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. The sex scandal involving senior monks and a woman has developed into a huge scandal in Thailand following the revelation of evidence proving the relationships which are forbidden under Buddhist values. But why is it so difficult to hold these monks accountable? The woman allegedly at the center of sex scandals in which more than 20 senior monks are implicated was arrested on Tuesday at her luxury residence in Nonthaburi. The woman, known to many as Seeka Golf, was arrested on charges of money laundering, receiving stolen items, and abetting alleged abuse of authority by monks. She also faces the possibility of another fraud charge. The arrest of Seeka Golf comes as the Thai monastic circle is being rocked by an explosive number of sex scandals in which over 20 senior monks are alleged to have had intimate relationships with her. Last week, police confiscated 5 smartphones from the woman and have found thousands of videos and audio clips featuring intimate relationships between senior monks and the woman. They have also uncovered huge money transactions between them. Investigators have uncovered evidence that she received 380,000 baht from the former abbots of a temple in Ayutthaya province. Police have also filed embezzlement charges against the former abbots for allegedly transferring money from the temple's bank account to the woman. Following the breaking of the scandal, His Majesty the King issued a royal command on Tuesday night to revoke previous announcements which had granted monastic titles to senior monks. His Majesty the King expressed concern following media reports about several monks who were found to have violated the monastic code, which have caused significant emotional distress among Buddhists. Former Senator Wanchai Sonsiri, who's also a former member of the National Reform Council's Buddhist Affairs Reform Committee, finds it unbelievable that so many senior monks are involved in such forbidden acts, considering the nobility of their status. He also feels that people place too much faith in monks, believing that monks will always perform good deeds.
สังคมไทยคนไทยศาสนาพุทธสาธุชนเราคาดหวังในตัวพระสูงเกินไป
อันนี้จริงเลยครับ
คาดหวังว่าบวชแล้วห่มจีวรแล้วจะเป็นพระดีพระบริสุทธิ์เสมอซึ่งความจริงแล้วมันไม่ใช่เพราะตราบใดยังไม่สิ้นกิเลสพระจะต้องมีเรื่องอย่างนี้ล่ำไป
Meanwhile, an expert in Buddhist studies noticed the lack of enforcement in punishing monks who violate rules and discipline. Apart from pushing for the bill, he believes that the most important aspect is reforming the monastic community in which monks must strictly follow Buddhist teachings and adhere to their ethics.
มันต้องทำสงฆ์ให้มีคุณภาพถ้าถามผมนะครับต้องคือไม่ใช่แค่เอาเฉพาะโยนปัญหาให้มหาเถรแต่ในเดียวกันมหาเถรต้องมาใส่ใจพระหนุ่มเนนน้อยเช่นให้เรียนบาลีแบบสนามหลวงอย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็ดูปาติโมกข์แต่ปัญหาคือลงแล้วไม่ปฏิบัติ
In light of the recent sex scandals, the National Office of Buddhism has considered reviving a bill seeking criminal penalties for monks who are convicted of committing serious disciplinary violations, as well as the laymen and laywomen involved. In fact, a monk having a sexual or intimate relationship with a woman is considered the worst disciplinary violation. Any monk that commits this wrongdoing will be defrocked. And under this bill, a monk who is found guilty of committing a serious violation, including having sex with laymen or laywomen, would face 1 to 7 years in prison and or a fine between 20,000 baht to 140,000 baht. At the same time, laymen or laywomen who consent to having sex with monks will face the same penalties. While the bill is yet to be resubmitted to Parliament, at least there are some changes being made. A ministerial regulation will come into force on October 1st, requiring all public donations and temple proceeds to be paid into the bank accounts of temples, as well as imposing a limit of 100,000 baht in the bank account or personal possession of a monk or an abbot. This is aimed at increasing transparency in terms of the money that is circulating in the temples and the abbot's bank accounts to avoid issues such as embezzlement and money laundering. And the woman who is widely known as Seeka Golf is at the center of a sex scandal involving dozens of senior monks. We have attempted to find out what her real motivation was and the underlying loopholes that allowed her to extort sums of money from those monks. Here's more with Kitipat Chinsukjit.
This was the moment when a 35-year-old woman, allegedly the central character in the sex scandals that have shaken the Thai monastic community, was arrested at her residence on Tuesday. Vilawan Sawat, better known as Seeka Golf, came under public scrutiny for having sexual relationships with senior monks, as well as secretly recording their encounters and allegedly using that evidence for blackmail. More than 80,000 images and video files were found on her phones, which were confiscated by police. At least 20 monks have been implicated in the sex scandal so far, most of whom have already left monkhood to avoid being defrocked. In Thai society, the term Seeka refers to a lay woman who is closely associated with monks. Though not an official title, it's often used for women involved in controversies with monks, which is why the woman is referred to as Seeka Golf by the media and the public. Authorities believe that her ultimate driver was money, which is probably why senior, high-ranking monks are her prime targets, as they are in positions of power, influence, and have access to temple finances. Dr. Krisanapong Phutrakoon, a criminologist at Rangsit University, noticed other loopholes within the Thai monastic community of which Seeka Golf allegedly took advantage.
The monks are vulnerable and they spend most of their time within the community temple. Also, they hardly have time with people outside the world. Therefore, when Seeka Golf contacted or get access to these senior monks, it's easier for her to lure the monks, senior monks. More importantly, these senior monks, they are respected and most people believe and trust them. It means they can have more money from the community members, and these are the key points why Seeka Golf would like to get access to these senior monks rather than elderly people.
According to reports by local media, Seeka Golf comes from a very poor family in Pichit province. She dropped out of middle school and moved to Bangkok. She has reportedly had multiple marriages and relationships over the past 16 years, including with monks, former abbots, and even local politicians. With at least 3 children, her love life has been filled with overlapping affairs. In light of the Seeka Golf scandal, Dr. Krisanapong is concerned that there will be more scandals like these in the future, especially if there is no reform, whether it's the auditing of temple finances or the punishment of monks who violate disciplinary rules.
Actually, criminal has different tactics to commit crimes or to embezzle money from people, right? And this case would be another big scandal for those who are going to use this model to lure other monks. Therefore, the senior monks or the other abbots would be aware of person like Seeka Golf, and also the government agency, which is responsible for the monks, would have clear pictures how to prevent the apots or the senior monks to go away from the monastic rules. It's not the personal money, but it's the temple money.
The criminal court ordered Seeka Golf detained for 12 days on Thursday, pending the outcome of the investigation into sex scandals allegedly involving her and several senior monks. She is also, however, being linked to another fraud case involving the former director of the National Office of Buddhism's Pijit office. Kittipat Sukhjit, reporting for Thai PBS World.
Now moving on to Thai politics, you may have noticed that former Premier Thaksin has been making public appearances here and there, taking the opportunity to reveal that he has ended his longtime relationship with Hun Sen. We analyze how this torn friendship between the two influential figures may increase bilateral conflicts and whether there's a way to prevent it.
ลูกเนี่ยก็จะโทรคุยกับผมตลอด
Thaksin has announced that his longtime friendship with Cambodia's strongman Hun Sen has ended following the notorious phone call with his daughter. Describing their past relationship as being like brothers, Thaksin said he is in shock over what Hun Sen did to his daughter and now suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn. He also criticized Hun Sen for lacking ethics. Hun Sen in turn accused Thaksin of sharing confidential Thai government documents and threatened to expose more secrets of him. Political scientist Dr. Thitipon Phakdiwanit feels that both of their remarks have worsened the situation, which is already heated over border tensions.
We cannot deny that it has certain implication on the Thai-Cambodian relations when we look at the current government when Thaksin's daughter is actually in power as prime minister. So we cannot deny that it could have some implication on the Thai-Cambodian relation because we don't know what they have in common in terms of their personal interests that caused the conflict between the two families. Because I don't believe that the current issues between Thailand and Cambodia is just about the Thai border conflict. When we put Thaksin and the Shinawat family into this equation, I think that actually worsened the situation.
With Thaksin making frequent public appearances, Dr. Thitipon analyzed that he is trying to change the narrative to save Paetongtarn. The more he speaks, though, the more he undermines his daughter's premiership. At the same time, his vision for the country may no longer fit the current context.
I think the main thing that Thaksin tried to appear too much to be perhaps to show the public that he is actually the person who actually is a brain of the party, that what he is trying to show, and he still live in the past. Today we have different perception towards development. Thailand has changed, the world has changed, and so he has to also embrace political liberty into the policy of Pheu Thai as well. What I have seen that he just tried to focus on one thing. Economy cannot develop without liberties of the freedom.
Dr. Thitipon also pointed to another surprising statement by Thaksin. He claimed that the political and economic situation in Thailand has worsened since he was ousted from power in 2006. This, he feels, is an attempt to take credit for himself and the Shinawat family.
And the tone of his speech, he was trying to say that without him, then it's worsened, but it's not quite exactly what happened. One thing that make it worse because we have military intervention, that I think that is a cause of the problem that we have in the country. So it's not just because we didn't have him, but because the military intervention and the control over businesses and control over freedom of expression, because we cannot just promote economic development. We also have to promote liberty and freedom of the people in Thailand as well.
Despite attempts to flip the narrative, both Paetongtarn and Thaksin are already struggling to get over their own hurdles. The House State Security Affairs Committee will summon Paetongtarn next week to explain her controversial phone call with Hun Sen. This is on top of the Constitutional Court and the anti-graft panel's investigation into her ethical misconduct, both of which could oust her from office and impose a lifetime ban from politics. Thaksin himself will face Judgment Day on August 22nd, when the verdict in the case in which he's accused of royal defamation during his interview with South Korean media 10 years ago will be read. Nad Bunag reported for Thai PBS World. And now let's have a look at the other stories making headlines throughout the week in our weekly roundup. The criminal court has set August 22nd for the reading of its verdict in the case in which Thaksin Shinawatra is accused of royal defamation allegedly committed during an interview with South Korean media 10 years ago. A lawyer representing the former prime minister said that he will attend court in person to hear the verdict. The date will also mark the second anniversary of Thaksin's return from self-imposed exile. The cabinet will consider contenders for the post of the governor of the Bank of Thailand next week, according to Finance Minister Pichai Chunhawashira. The selection committee has shortlisted candidates to Vitai Ratanakon, president and CEO of the state-run government saving bank, and Dr. Rung Malikamat, deputy governor of the Bank of Thailand in charge of financial institution stability. The Election Commission has been asked to take legal action against 138 senators and 91 individuals, including members of the Executive Committee of the opposition Phum Jai Thai Party and associates, for alleged collusion in the election of senators last year in violation of the Senate Election Act and the Constitution. If it agrees with the investigative panel's decision, it may take the case to the Constitutional Court seeking dissolution of the Phum Jai Thai Party. A fire broke out on Friday morning on the 4th floor of a building that houses a spa service in Siam Square Soi 3 in the Pathumwan district of Bangkok. Firefighters and water trucks were trying to extinguish the blaze as the fire had spread to nearby buildings. No injuries reported so far. Now let's turn to the economy. While other ASEAN countries have reduced U.S. tariffs on their goods, Thailand is still negotiating with U.S. authorities over lowering their own. Opening the market to American products might accelerate the talks, but business leaders have expressed concerns over the 0% tariff proposal. Frank Han-Shi joins me now to explain more. So Frank, what would be the impact on Thailand if the country does remove all tariffs on the importation of U.S. goods?
Hi Ned, Thailand's agricultural sector will face impact the most, but before we dive into those details, let's have a look at this chart, because Indonesia already fixed the rate and anchored that rate at 19%, and Vietnam and Philippines already fixed the rate at 20%, but Thailand still holds the rate at 36%. But the final rate for Indonesia actually caught my attention because the country proposed similar strategies and approaches, including import of energy products and agricultural products, and also 50 Boeing jet. This is quite similar to Thailand's suggestion here, but right now, of course, Thailand already proposed a lot of proposals, like 5-point proposals here, but we still see the rate at 36%. Thailand's Finance Minister Pichai Chunhawashira also suggested that Thailand can open some market for U.S. products imported to the Thai market. But will that work? I think time will tell us. But now, however, many analysts have raised concerns over impact on farming sectors. Dr. Girida Paupiji from TDRI, she say that the government, Thailand's government, needs to fix structural issues immediately. Have a listen.
So I think the pragmatic approach here is that, of course, there will be sectors that will be affected because they're not as competitive as the American products that might come to be sold in Thailand. Yeah. So I don't think this is a short-term measure that we can address immediately. But I think this is a more of a structural issue where I think we need to step up our competitiveness in both these industries and also in these farming products, so that we can be competitive.
In addition to farming sector, the Federation of Thai Industries suggested that Thai government could only open some part in some sectors to American products. For example, pharmaceutical sector, because of course, US has capacity to produce high quality drugs and sell them to Thailand. Another aspect that we have to talk about and analysts monitoring all time is foreign direct investment, where investment will not get impacted instantly. Commercial banks researchers say that Thailand cannot compete with other countries on foreign direct investment if Thailand cannot lower its tariff rate. But now, actually, Dr. Gedida also highlighted silver lining for us. She said that Thailand can maintain its competitiveness while negotiating with United States on tariff. She suggested that biotech products and infrastructure can help preserve Thailand's capability and competitiveness in Southeast Asia.
Biotechnology products were also strong because we have a lot of agricultural base here that can be added, value with biotechnology. For example, I'll just say like plant-based proteins or even cosmetics, vitamins, or even bioplastics, for example. So those are things that actually we can produce and we have a competitive advantage too, and they can be exported as well. There are also other things like infrastructure in Thailand. It's not bad. I mean, compared to other countries in Southeast Asia, right? If investors would like to move to Southeast Asia, right, we are actually pretty decent on our infrastructure, road, rail, ports, right, airports.
So Ned, of course, Thailand right now has particularly strong sector to mitigate tariff tensions here, but business leaders and analysts hope to see that lowering rate from 36% to 20% or lower. And the major, of course, government right now proposed that 200 billion baht soft loans to SMEs and agricultural sectors here. But is it really important to support Thailand's economy if Thailand really opened the market to American products with 0% tariff levy? We will have to see and monitor the market response until 1st of August. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Frank. We'll end the program with this important story. Cannabis businesses have been affected by the Thai government's sudden policy reversal, introducing new measures to restrict the sale of marijuana. This has triggered countless protests by the pro-cannabis lobby and has further fueled controversy within Thai society. Warisara Sahan has more details.
In 2022, during Prayut Chan-o-cha's administration, Thailand became the first country in Southeast Asia to decriminalize cannabis, aimed at boosting the country's economy and tourism. Since then, cannabis shops and cannabis-infused products have blossomed, along with thousands of neon signs along the streets. 3 years later, pro-cannabis groups and networks are rallying in front of the Ministry of Public Health after the Pheu Thai government announced that cannabis can no longer be used for recreational purposes, but only for medical reasons.
This is not the first time for the pro-cannabis demonstrations near the Public Health Ministry. It is a symbolic rally to stand against the government's move to recriminalize cannabis and ask for what they claim a fair Cannabis Act and a special committee on its new regulation.
By doing what the health minister is doing right now is absolutely, one, unfair and is quite literally creating a monopoly, allowing for his people to use the system, use what they are doing with this new announcement to corrupt and use, the usual general Thai corruption.
Pro-cannabis supporter Prasit Chai Nunuan, the leader of the Riding Thailand's Cannabis Future Network, also sees the move as unfair. One particular issue is for cannabis farms to require a factory license or to meet the ACP standards, which he says impact small businesses and home growers.
พอออกประกาศกระทรวงฉบับใหม่มาสิ่งที่เปลี่ยนแปลงก็คือเกิดการควบคุมผูกขาดการปลูกครับซึ่งเดิมเนี่ยกระบวนการผูกขาดการปลูกมันไม่มีเพราะเป็นเสรีภาพที่เราจะดีไซน์การปลูกตามภูมิศาสตร์ยังไงก็ได้แต่ละภาคไม่เหมือนกันแต่พอเป็นอย่างนี้ปั๊บเนี่ยทำให้เกิดการผูกขาดเพราะอะไรครับเพราะเวลาเรากำหนดมาตรฐานเนี่ยมันมีค่าใช้จ่ายมันมีขั้นตอนและค่าใช้จ่ายคือกลไกกีดกันชนิดหนึ่งเพราะว่าเวลากติกามันบังคับเยอะเนี่ยคนเล็กคนน้อยเนี่ยไม่มีปัญญาเลยครับ
Prasit Chai and Chokwan Kitty Chopaka, who have spent the past 8 years advocating for cannabis, insist that they are not asking for free cannabis, only a special committee and a Cannabis Act to be passed by Parliament. Without that, the future of cannabis, including for businesses and farmers, is uncertain.
Because I was only selling flowers. Everyone else was selling gummies, cookies, brownies, vapes, oils, all the things that are still considered as Schedule 5 narcotics. And no authority arresting them, no one closing them down. It doesn't mean that there's no rules. There's just no enforcement of the rules. And right now, the authorities, the health department, they're actually finally working. So they're sending out a team that every week to go and at least check out 20 to 30 shops in each region each week. I would like that if it was 2-3 years ago. My shop wouldn't be shut down. It would be at least a bit more of a fair game, not like how it is right now.
Currently, about 1.5 million Thais use cannabis, according to the Office of the Narcotics Control Board. The increase in usage also meant that more users experienced negative effects on their health, especially teens. Meanwhile, over 1,500 dispensaries have been found to have violated the conditions outlined in the ministry announcement, such as not reporting the results of its operations and selling cannabis to people without a medical prescription. Rasamon Kalayasiri, director of the Center for Addiction Studies, agrees with the government's change of stance, only allowing cannabis for medical purposes, where the use of cannabis must be prescribed by a medical professional. Some, however, question the line between medical and recreational use in some cases. It is consumed using the same methods, such as smoking.
So that's why they need to have something to draw the line. And for the drawing the line, maybe have the medical prescription, maybe one of the way to do that, because if we do not do that, maybe people who use recreational, everyone will say they use for their own physical disease or medical disease. For example, if someone have psychotic disorder, or not disorder but just episode of psychotic, that is very serious. So I think if some medication if they have some side effect that is very serious like this, maybe getting the opinion from the professional might be a good way for take care of our health.
Although there are still controversies, pro-cannabis groups insist that the ministerial announcement must be reconsidered and amended by this August at the latest. One of them being the revocation of TACP standards and allowing the general public to access cannabis without medical certificates. Warisala Sehan reporting for Thai PBS World.
All right, and that's all for this edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
ติดตามข่าวสารรอบโลกให้คุณไม่พลาดทุกความเคลื่อนไหวครบเรื่องทันโลกได้ทุกที่ทุกเวลากับมินนี่ณัฐชา กิจโมกในทุกช่องทางออนไลน์ของทันโลกกับไทย PBS อย่าลืมติดตามกันนะคะ